Welcome in, everyone, to Picks and Parlays Bettors Edge. We've got some more NFL football bets for you. I'm Hannah Mears. That's Craig Trapp. That's Andrew Fillipponi. Guys, let's just jump right into it. Sunday's going to kick off with a game overseas again. The Jacksonville Jaguars just making themselves at home, staying overseas, but the Bills are coming in. This one, the Bills are favored by 5.5. They had a fantastic game last week. Josh Allen looked to get his fire back, but do they take it to Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, who have felt like the home team over in London, Pony?
Well, it's definitely a home team situation now because Jacksonville got to stay over there. So it's in a different stadium, but they got acclimated to the London situation. Look, this is a time and place game for me. The timing of the game and the location of it mean everything. Buffalo's coming off an emotional win. They feel like they've asserted themselves as the best team in the AFC East again. Now they got to travel to London. Jacksonville's there waiting for them. Jacksonville got its mojo back with the way they played both offensively and defensively against Atlanta. The line here, I think, is too big. I give Jacksonville a chance to win this game. And, hey, even if they lose by a field goal, you're still covering. So I think this is a letdown spot for Buffalo because you've got Jacksonville lying in wait for them over in London, ready for this game.
Do you think so, too, or do you think the Bills come back in this one in a big way, keep that fire rolling?
Tough spot for Buffalo because – I mean, you beat the best team in football, what everybody was saying there for a little while. Miami comes off 70, and all of a sudden you put it on them last week. Now you have to travel, like you said, with a team that's already in London, acclimated to there. And let's remember, Jacksonville plays over there every year, so a lot more fan support there. I'm staying off the side. I think you take the Bills over the team total. I had it at 27.5. I like it either way. I think it's going to be a shootout. We have seen, and I said last week my play was the over. I was wrong in the Jags game, not because of the Jags, but it was because Atlanta offense was so bad. This week, I think both offenses put up a lot, but I think the safer play, take the over on the team total for the Buffalo Bills.
I like that you said it's going to be a shootout. I have Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns as my best bet in this one. He had 4 passing touchdowns in that 48-point performance last week. And when the Bills get inside the 20, statistics are showing that they are throwing the ball 7 passing touchdowns inside of the 20 for them this season. So I think Josh Allen's going to be airing the ball out. And if they're getting close to the end zone, he's going to start getting itchy. Take Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Now let's move back to the States, guys. In a game that probably would have been highly anticipated had the trend of the Pittsburgh Steelers not been going the way it has been this season. Ravens and Steelers. This line I've seen at 3.5. I've seen it maybe at 4. Who knows where it'll be come actually Sunday, but let's say it's at 4. Pony, do you like the Steelers at all in this one with Kenny Pickett's possible injury, Pat Freiermuth being out? Maybe they make some changes this week. What do you think's going to happen?
I don't think the injuries really matter. I don't think the quarterback in this game really matters to the way I feel about it, whether it's a starter or a backup, because I just always expect the Steelers to play the Ravens tough. This game, historically, is a 3-point game. 75% of their games over the last 10 years have been 3 points or less to the winner. And so the line is big enough here where even with a backup quarterback, the Steelers have done great against Lamar Jackson. In fact, he's only won 1 game against them in his entire career. He's got 4 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. They do a number on him defensively, and I've seen Mike Tomlin beat the Ravens before the backup quarterback Charlie Batch a number of years ago. So the game's in Pittsburgh. I think it's a kind of a last stand before their bye week type of feel where they need to put a foot down and win to not be a losing team going into the meat of their schedule. It's a home game. I think they'll get the job done, definitely cover. Maybe lose a heartbreaker. They'll cover the 4 points, though.
The thing that I also could say with the Ravens and Steelers is when I'm looking at this first half, I'm going under 19.5. Like you said, Pony, this is always a hard-fought game between these two teams. And I don't think the Steelers' defense is the problem. Yes, they had a little bit of an off week last week, but they've been the most dominant part of this team. I think they can contain Lamar Jackson. The Ravens really only had one 20-point first half, and that was against the Browns. Other than that, they have not been lighting up the scoreboard. And we know what the Steelers' offensive situation has been like, only about 15 points per game this season, and maybe only one game will skew that a little bit because I think we could say that average should be a little less. So look at the first half under in this one. Both of these teams are going to look to get something going, but I think the Steelers defense does enough to contain Lamar Jackson. Craig, when you're looking at this, do you like a side in this one? You leaning toward a total? This is an AFC North showdown.
This is a very tough game, and I do like the Ravens to win. Now that the line's 3.5, I would buy the half a point and take the Ravens because I think it's more than likely that the Ravens win the game, and it's, at the worst, I feel like we're going to push. But I do think turnovers is the key to the AFC North matchups. Almost always the team that wins a turnover battle wins. And right now, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Steelers quarterback situation. So quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, it's like I just don't know what they're doing. I thought after you get 2 good games, I know it was a tough spot last week, but they just didn't show up at all. I think this one you take the Ravens by the half a point at 3.
Do you have confidence in the Rams, though, when it comes to Eagles-Rams? Because this has been a sneaky Rams team lately, and I'm excited for this game. The Eagles haven't necessarily been blowing teams out, but they have been consistent. And in this league, a win is a win. So do you feel confident about the Rams?
I like the Rams. I think they can win this game. I think the Eagles, it's a very tough spot. The Eagles, they've been on all these primetime games. Not saying this isn't like every game's on TV in the NFL. But this isn't a primetime matchup. This isn't the Rams that went to the Super Bowl 4 years ago. I think it'd be easy to overlook them. I think the best player in football is Aaron Donald, and he's feeling a little disrespected that, TJ Watt, you hear about all these other guys on defense that's put ahead of him, and I think he's taken a slight to that. And this Rams offense has been pretty good. I mean, they didn't play well at all in Cincinnati in the Monday Night Football game and still got that backdoor touchdown to push or win, depending on where you got the line. So I'm going to take the Rams plus the points here, I think, and a sprinkle a little on the money line.
I can't lie, Pony. I'm taking the Rams, too, at that plus 4.5. I know, Pony looks shocked by this, so I'm excited to hear what you have to say. But the reason is the Rams have been silently good. Like we said this season, they only lost that dominant 49ers team by a touchdown. But the bigger story here, the Eagles are really only beating teams by that 5-point margin at times and just beat the Commanders barely by 3. So I really do like where the Rams are sitting in this one. I think they could give the Eagles a game. I'm going to have to take the Rams plus the points. Pony, I feel like you're on the opposite side.
So styles make fights here. So matchups week to week and what teams do personnel-wise, scheme-wise matters so much in this league. Craig just brought up what happened in the Bengals Monday night game. To me, that's a bad omen for the Rams in this game because they couldn't block Cincinnati's front. Matt Stafford got killed in that game. He got sacked, I think, at least 6 times. And Cincinnati's defensive line with Hendrickson and Hubbard is good. It's not Philadelphia's front. They led the league in sacks last year. We're seeing it again. Jalen Carter's probably the front runner to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I just don't think the Rams can block the Eagles front. And McVay will try to scheme around it. But at the end of the day, I think that's where this game is won or lost. I, like an idiot, thought that the Patriots could block the Cowboys front last week. Dead wrong. They couldn't. Mac Jones looked awful. And I could see with an immobile quarterback and Matt Stafford, the same thing happening in this game. So I'm going to take the Eagles minus 4.5.
Yeah, we left the Patriots off the slate this week to talk about for a lot of reasons. So you're welcome.
I need to stop picking them and losing people money.
You're welcome for that. But Chiefs,
by the way, I do like the Saints against them. I am off their bandwagon for this week.
There we go.
Get on now.
Get off the Patriots bandwagon so that everybody else should get on, right? No, Chiefs and Vikings, though. Patrick Mahomes struggled a bit against Zach Wilson and the Jets. And the Vikings record, I don't think, indicates actually how they've been playing this season with Kirk Cousins at the helm. That line's sitting around 5.5, total 53.5. Pony, when you look at this game, do you believe in Kirk Cousins?
Well, it's a narrative game to me, and the line is as big as it is, I think, because of 2 things. People just assume the Chiefs will win, and people just assume the Vikings will lose right now. And the inflated line, I think, creates a value opportunity in Minnesota. They have a penchant this year for losing close games. They've lost every one-score game. They won every one-score game last year. Based on how these 2 teams have played, Kansas City on the road and the way Minnesota's played at home, this will be a close game. That's what the numbers tell me through 4 weeks. That's why I'm going to take the Vikings. What? Take Kirk Cousins against Mahomes? Are you crazy? I just saw Zach Wilson, if not for a lost fumble, potentially beat that Chiefs team. Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota to keep it very close here.
I think this is a really perfect spot for the Vikings to get a win, if not keep it close. I'm going to say it's not a money line play just because I'm not as confident in that, but I am confident in how they can compete with this Chiefs team. I, too, like the Vikings plus the points in this one, that plus 5.5 number. I do agree with you 100%, Pony. I think that's just a little too big. This is Kirk Cousins, who for 3 weeks had a QBR over 100. He's been fantastic. They just need a few other things to align for them. I think this one could could also be one of those shootout type of games. It's in Minnesota. This, to me, is a game that the Vikings can stay in. And even if they don't win, I think it'll be closer than what this line indicates. Craig, are you with us or are you against us here in this one?
I good points on both of you. I can't play the side in this game because I could see either team winning, to be very honest. I could see that Kansas City, kind of looks past Minnesota, and Minnesota's a much better team at home last few years. But I also could see where the Chiefs jump on them early, and then we get turnover issues in Minnesota. So I'm going to take the over here. I just think there's going to be a lot more points. A lot of people are on Kansas City for not scoring at the end there. A lot of people questioning the Kansas City offense. What does that usually mean? Andy Reid, I think, puts up crazy numbers here and is like, all right, let's show you guys what we can do. And I think this is a statement game. I think Kansas City puts up, 34. So if Minnesota is going to cover, they're going to have to put up points too. Let's take the over in this game.
I have a vendetta against Patrick Mahomes right now, so I really hope Kirk Cousins shows out because
that slide
drove me nuts. I finally feel like I got a taste of what a lot of betting people do over the years when things like that happen. That's fine, Patrick Mahomes. Just won't like you this week. Cowboys and Niners, though, Sunday Night Football. I think this is going to be the one that every NFL fan is excited to see. These are two of the best defenses in the leagues. Brock Purdy hasn't lost at all as a starter. And then you've got a guy like Dak Prescott in this Cowboys offense. They're looking to say that they are right there in the mix with everybody. I don't know if they are yet, though. So with this line sitting at 3.5 in favor of the Niners, but this is in San Francisco, mind you, as well. Do you like this one, Craig? Do you like the Niners?
I love this game. I love just being able to watch it. I love it as a bettor. In fact, a little teaser. This is my best bet of the week, so we won't have to go back to me. This is the best bet of the week. I will have a second best bet going early on Sunday Action that you can get at the app. But, when you look at this game, it just doesn't make sense. You think this San Francisco team is like – that's almost disrespectful, the line that you see right now. Because this team has not lost, like you said, with Zach Purdy. If he doesn't go down in the playoffs.
Brock Purdy?
Purdy, sorry. Oh, Zach Purdy. What am I doing there?
I don't know.
We're hoping that Zach Wilson channels that at some point,
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was like.
Maybe Zach Wilson gets in the game. I don't know. But Brock Purdy is like. If they win that, he stays healthy, they might win and play in the Super Bowl. So I think San Francisco's on a mission here, and I think this is a statement game because this team might be who they have to beat to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, you never know. In the NFC, I think you take San Francisco minus the points here. I think they win by a touchdown plus. If you take away all the the defensive touchdowns and all the gifts they've because of the turnovers, like this offense for Dallas hasn't really done that much. So to me, I'm taking San Francisco minus the points. I think they put up crazy numbers on a very good Dallas defense, but I just think they're on the field a lot, and I think that's a problem.
Do you disagree with this one?
I actually do. Now that the line's up to 3.5, I would advise everybody to take Dallas plus 3.5. I do like the money line in this game, too. San Francisco scored at least 30 points in every game, but let's consider who they've played against. The Steelers in Week 1, who have been underachieving. The Rams, who have been a surprise story this year, but very few picked them to make the playoffs before the season started. The total for them was 6.5 wins. The Giants, who can't score, and Arizona, who was looked at as one of the best teams, but has been competitive. So they've not played a team that looks like a playoff team. They've been impressive, but look at the level of competition. You could say the same thing about Dallas, I get that. But the Cowboys' defense will be the best unit that the 49ers have played all year long. And their offense, say what you will about Dak Prescott, but it'll also be the best offense that they played this entire season. I think the game means a lot more to Dallas because they've lost in the playoffs to San Francisco in back-to-back years. If this game were in January, I'd tell you to bet the 49ers. But I think because it's a Week 5 game in October, I just look at it for Dallas as a game that they measure themselves by even more than what Craig said about San Francisco. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I lose by a field goal, I win in this game, Hannah. That's how I see it.
Fair enough. Here's what I like in this game, and this goes back to the fact that I think the Cowboys could have a big second half after looking at adjustments and figuring out how to stop McCaffrey. But I think the 49ers could have a good first half, as they have been this season. They're averaging 17 points per game in the first half against the teams that they've played. Dallas's opponents are averaging about 11 points per game in the first half. So really, if McCaffrey can take advantage of the fact that Dallas's defense let Arizona run for 222 cumulative yards against them last week, I think this one could get a little more in the favor of the Niners in the beginning of the game. This is also going to be my best bet of the week, is taking the San Francisco 49ers over 12.5 first half points. All they need, really, a touchdown, 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns. I don't think this is too far out of reach. I think this number's even a little bit low, so you might be getting it at a good value. That's my best bet. Like I said, Pony, we know what Craig's best bet is. What is your best bet of the week? Are you doubling down on anything or picking something new?
No, I'm not. I'm taking a futures bet, actually. One thing that I think is very much recommended by me is that if you believed something in August, don't stubbornly stick with that once you've seen at least a quarter of the NFL season. And I was not sold on Detroit before the year started. I've seen enough right now to think if you bet them to win the Super Bowl, I know they've never played in one. They're the lovable loser franchise. 17-1. I think those odds are only going to get better as the season goes on. They have Carolina this week. They'll win that game. We'll see what happens with some of these other contenders like Kansas City, like the loser of San Francisco. Dallas's odds will go down. Philadelphia, you guys think they might lose to L.A. I just think by the end of this week, there's a chance 17-1 was the best time to buy them to win the big game. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I don't really see a weakness with this team right now. I think they're well coached. Goff's playing well. They run the ball well. Their defense looks like it's a complete unit, a total turnaround from last year. 17-1. Maybe they're like the Eagles, Hannah, from last year. And, a month from now, we're looking at the Lions as one of the best teams in the entire NFL.
They're going to win the division. That's the positive. Right now they are.
Well, he's taking them all the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, you just got to get in.
I just think in a couple of weeks we could see them at like 12-1 or 10-1.
I don't think you're far off. So get it while the value's hot.
And the Eagles lose. Even if San Francisco would lose this week, all of a sudden those odds are going to drastically change.
Right. All right, so pay attention to the Detroit Lions this week. I like it. Buy now, buy in, spend all your money on what Pony thinks about the Detroit Lions. If you want more of what we think, head over to the Picks and Parlays app, available on all mobile device platforms. This is Bettor's Edge, and thanks for tuning in with us on a weekly basis.